Okay. Oh yeah. Some network issue, guys. Please bear with it. Ma'am do Nandala. Hi Lipika. Your birthday today or something?
No, no.
It comes somewhere in June or something. Nice. I remember. I usually don't remember birthdays, so sorry for the others. I don't know. I think there was a some internet issue that. Okay. Good evening to all the hardworking people. I hope you're not hardly working. Even if it is so, it is okay. I was just listening to a song. I don't know who sang this. I just today. It's okay to be not okay. Sometimes it's okay to be not okay. So I was just listening to that song. It's beautiful. You just need someone to say sometimes that it's okay to be not okay, but it is not okay to be not okay all the time. So sometimes if things have not gone as you have planned, it's okay, but it should not stop you from planning things and dreaming. That's important. So with that note, let's start the revision of economics. I hope that once I've completed the syllabus, you have gone through the entire course material, and I hope that when you were going through the course material, you were able to recollect the classes, sessions, and discussions that we had. If so, then it will make me very happy. If not, still it's okay. When you were reading, if you were able to understand the concepts, that's great. And I hope that, I also think that you might have gone through the questions, the multiple choice questions, and what kind of questions, what sort of questions you might come across. So it's a revision class. Obviously, the 5 modules have to be discussed. So basically, I'll just go through all the important concepts. If you want me to explain any of the concepts, then you can stop me then and there, and we can have a discussion, the clarification. Okay. Honestly speaking, I thought that I should start from chapter 4 because somehow I wasn't happy because chapter 4 is such big chapter and there is so much to learn. And I just felt that, there is still more to say. So, and for the first 3 we have thoroughly discussed. Even the chapter 4, I haven't missed any concept, but still, wanted to start from chapter 4. But then I thought, why to leave the chapter 5? So we'll go that's reverse engineering, so reverse doing. So we'll start from business cycle, very very small unit. From there we'll move on to the first chapter. Is that okay? Yeah. So 1 second, give me a second. While I'm trying to share the screen, meanwhile, you can also take out the chapter 5, and you can also, I'm sure that you might have gone through that concept. So, okay. Okay. So I will just go through the concept, and where I'm not explaining anything now. If you want me to explain any of the concepts in this, you please stop me, okay? Because this chapter, I consider it to be very, very simple one. So you know what business cycle is, that any economy cannot be stagnant. It will always be, the volatility and variation is the nature of the economy. So in such changes, sometimes the economy may reach the upper portion, or the in the wave kind of a thing. It may go up and sometimes it may go down. So development may happen, it may not happen. So that is the business cycle, the fluctuations in aggregate economic activity. Okay, the fluctuations in aggregate economic activity that an economy experiences over a period of time are called business cycles or trade cycles, right? So this is a diagram, this is a graph. So expansion, peak or boom, then recession, then depression, and then again expansion. Expansion can also be the recovery. 1 second. It can also, it is known by different names. So this can also be understood as recovery. Okay, from here, from depression, when it reaches the peak, it can be a recovery, can be considered as recovery. Okay. And then when we go through the features of these phases, you will be able to understand what's actually happening there. So expansion actually means that reaching its heights, rising in profits, optimism about everything in the economy, increase in investment by entrepreneurs, expansion of money supply. So bank credits are easy to get, the confidence in business, so they invest more, so more employment, more output, and the fixed capital also will grow, plant, machinery, equipment and all, and then the wage increases. Then manufacturers and wholesalers and retailers are not scared to increase their stocks and inventories because they are very sure of the high demand in the future, because the entire economy is in totally optimistic environment. So this is expansion. Okay, this is expansion when it is moving towards the peak. It hasn't reached the peak, it is moving towards the peak. Clear about this phase? And then peak is an ideal situation. Okay, the peak is the thing where everything is fantastic, wonderful, that higher spending, higher growth, the confidence rises, asset price rises. So basically economy is utilizing its resources in the most optimum possible way. Okay, so that is peak, or that is boom. Clear? And then contraction. Once it starts falling down, okay, so in the recession or the contraction, so what happens? Fall in the level of investment and employment. So that somehow shocks the producers. So producers will hold their future plans, so they will cancel the orders. So overall, there is a downfall of an economy. So gradual decrease in wages and interest, because when producers are not producing, then obviously the wages will be cut. So postponement of purchases, even consumers are not very confident about buying goods, even if they have money, because they're not sure of the future. What if we do not have the money in the future to spend? So such kind of a thought will always prohibit people from spending today. So overall pessimism exists in the economy. Are you able to understand? Yeah. And then depression or trough. So in this situation, there is a fall in volume of output and trade, fall in income and rise in unemployment, decline in consumption. So totally economic activities are very, very low. And contraction of bank credit, fall in MEC, marginal efficiency of capital. What does that mean? Your future expectation from today's investment is marginal efficiency of capital. Am I clear to you? Your future expectations from today's investment. See, if you have some 50 lakhs rupees, where would you like to invest? Would you like to invest in Bangalore or in somewhere interior in Mandya?
Bangalore.
You have to think, okay?
Bangalore, ma'am.
Bangalore, because you know that the land value the money value will increase in Bangalore, right? Compared to Mandya. Purchasing a land in Mandya and purchasing land in Bangalore are not same. Okay, so that is marginal efficiency of capital. What you expect from today's investment is greater in Bangalore compared to some village in Mandya. So but that MEC falls during the time of depression. So when people are not very optimistic about their investment, if they think that if I invest 50 lakhs rupees today, in 10 years I may not get anything back, so then do I get the courage to invest? Definitely not. So this is the feature of depression. Am I clear? Any doubt? So then the causes of business cycle, that internal causes, fluctuations in effective demand, fluctuations in investment, variations in government spending, macroeconomic policies, money supply, and psychological factors. Yes, Harshita, you have a doubt?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think in one of the questions, there were two options, recession and contraction. Ma'am, since both of them mean the same thing, how do we go about choosing the right answer in an MCQ?
But in such cases, I think they will consider it both. Okay, but contraction, I mean, specifically after contraction, the recession is more deeper. But first, the economy gets contracted and then the recession starts. So in that way, it depends on the question. Okay, in that way, see, when we have to put it in 4 phases, then recession and contraction comes under almost the same level. But see, you can see the steep also. The more steeper it is going near the depression, then the recession is steeper. So, but the economy is getting contracted in the process of the recession.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So the internal causes, so please do understand that, fluctuations in effective demand, be with me. So here, if the effective demand increases, then optimism, then everything related to optimism. What is that? Boom or expansion, boom and, not or, boom and expansion. If effective demand decreases, then it goes in the direction of pessimism. Okay, so the economy may experience recession or depression. Am I clear? Yeah. So in same way, okay, in fluctuation, investment increases, then optimism way, decreases, pessimism direction. Variation in government spending. If government spending increases, optimism, decreases, pessimism. Macroeconomic policies are in favor of the entrepreneurs and the economic activities, then optimism, otherwise pessimism. Money supply increases, then boom and expansion, decreases, recession and depression. Psychological factors, if people are very confident, if people are optimistic, then boom and expansion. If they are pessimistic, then recession and depression. Am I clear? And then next one, external causes. Okay, wars, post-war reconstruction, technology shocks, natural factors, and population. Okay, so the business cycle also depends on the external causes. If a country goes through many wars, then obviously the economy will be either in recession or depression. It will enter the depression. Post-war reconstruction, it means that the world is supporting the country is trying its hard to build the economy back. So then people are psychologically very motivated, and then the policies are also to increase the production. Then the economy will move towards boom, upwards. And then technology shocks. So technology shocks will, what to say? So it's a shock. It's not a stimulant. So please understand, technology stimulant will increase the economic activities, and economy will reach towards boom. If technology shocks will put them down. And natural factors, so any natural calamities and all, it will result in pessimistic way. If monsoon is good, if agricultural production is good, if industries are getting good raw materials, there are no strikes, there are no pandemic, and then yes, good. If there is a regular supply of goods and services, then yes, economy will move towards expansion and boom. Then population growth. This is a tricky thing. Population growth depends on the resources you have, like, so if population growth is in a steady manner, in a desired manner, then boom, otherwise recession. Okay, so this is about the causes of business cycle. This is what you are supposed to know in the 5th chapter, very small, simple chapter. So if you have any doubt with regard to this chapter, please let me know. You can expect 1 or 2 questions from this, and most of them are with, if you have a general knowledge about this, I think with your common sense, you will be able to answer these questions. There are no technical aspects much in it. There are, but at least in your syllabus, it's nothing. So, any doubt? Okay. Shall we move on to the 4th chapter? Okay. I think 4th chapter is very, very important. You should be able to see, the first thing is that you should be able to identify different types of markets by their features. And second thing is that you should be able to identify the equilibrium point. And then normal profit, supernormal profit, or loss situation by looking at the diagram. If you see, and then you should also know the relationship between AR, MR, and price in different market types. Okay, so I think somehow, I feel that I have to give more importance to the 4th chapter. All other chapters are also equally important. One second, sorry, I have to, I'll take a blank sheet. If you want, you can write it down, okay? Today's class, whatever I'm doing, I've just done something like, which will help you to understand the concept easily. 1 second, give me a second. Just a second. Okay. So, if you are really very clear with this concept and you want some other chapter to be discussed in more detail, you please let me know, okay? It's just, I am assuming that you might need more clarity in this. So, if not, you can stop me anytime and say that, okay, this concept we are very clear with, you can move on to the next one, okay? Okay. Please understand that there is perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. Okay. Now, okay, have you taken this down? So these are all imperfect competition, and this is perfect competition, which classical economists believed in. Okay, next, take down. I'll write forms of market. Please take this down, okay, neatly. Number of firms, nature of product, because I'm talking about all the features of all the markets and I'm comparing, okay? Nature of product, price elasticity, price elasticity, price control, price control. One second. And ease of entry. If you know these many features, more than enough to understand all the types of market. Am I clear? So, first one, perfect competition. Okay, perfect competition. You know that in perfect competition, large number of firms. Okay, large number of buyers and large number of sellers. How is that important? It says that an individual buyer or seller won't make much difference to the market. In fact, he or she doesn't make any difference in the market. Am I clear? Okay, so one second, let me just write this down and then you can ask me the question if you have not understood any of the features or what do I mean by that. Is that okay? And yes. Then nature of product is homogeneous. Nature of product is homogeneous. Price elasticity is infinity. Remember the demand curve, horizontal straight line. Okay, that is what making me to write that price elasticity is infinite. And price control is zero because price is not decided by the individual buyer or seller. It is decided by the market. So a supplier doesn't have any control over the price. And ease of entry is free. Next comes, okay, let me write monopoly. Monopoly. Number of firms, obviously one. Nature of product, unique. Okay. Price elasticity, price elasticity, very small. What I mean is that less than one. Okay. And then price control, very large. Very large. And ease of entry, strong barrier to entry. Okay. Forgive me my handwriting, okay? I'm extremely sorry. Then monopolistic. Okay, should I explain this first or should we just write down? Okay, let's finish this off. Monopolistic. Monopolistic. Number of firms, large. Nature of product, differentiated. Differentiated. And then price elasticity, large in the sense greater than one. And then price control, some extent is there. Ease of entry, free. In oligopoly, I'm classifying it as pure oligopoly. pure oligopoly and differentiated oligopoly. Okay, so pure oligopoly, this is anyway few. Nature of product, homogeneous. Price elasticity, small. And then price control to some extent. Ease of entry, limited. Not everybody can enter. And then I have differentiate. Then the next one is differentiated oligopoly. Differentiated oligopoly. Number of firms. Sorry. 1 second. Okay, number of firms, few. Here, the nature of product is differentiated. And then price elasticity is small. Price control is large. Okay. And then ease of entry is limited. Okay, this table would give you entire picture of all the markets. It basically talks about all important features of the market, because one question will be on the features of the market. Okay. Okay, so now let me explain this. Perfect competition has large number of firms. It means there are large number of buyers and sellers. Okay, there are large number of buyers and sellers buying and selling goods and services. So what do you mean by large number? Wherever there are large numbers, okay, see here, 1 second. Here, okay, it means that individual seller would not make much impact on the economy. Am I clear to you? Individual sellers won't make much impact on the economy. It's like, if an individual seller decides to, quit the market, it won't affect the market. If an individual seller decides to increase the price, then he will lose the customer. But it will not affect the consumers too, to a greater extent, because there are large number of sellers. So wherever you see the large number of sellers, understand that individual entity, his impact on the economy would be very, very, very less. And then nature of product, homogeneous, okay, identical. Price elasticity, infinity. I hope you remember that the demand curve in the perfect competition is horizontal straight line. And at this point of time, I also would like you to remember that in perfect competition, P is equal to AR is equal to MR is equal to D. All are same. Remember? Yeah? Okay. And then price control is 0, because individual seller does not decide the price. Price is he's a price taker, he's not a price maker, and he follows the market equilibrium price. Okay, and how does the level of equilibrium gets decided in perfect competition, or how does the market decides the price? Through the invisible hand, that is demand and supply forces. I hope you remember this diagram. Right? Yeah, this is, so individual seller doesn't have a control over the price, and ease of entry is free because there is no government intervention, there is no restriction to enter, so ease of entry is free. Do you have any doubt in the features part of perfect competition? Clear? Yeah. So the next is monopoly. So number of firms, 1, obviously, therefore it is monopoly, 1 seller. And then look at the nature of product. It is unique. Okay, so what does that mean? I hope you remember that while understanding the market of monopoly, we did discuss about the substitutes. A pure monopoly will not have pure substitutes. Okay, it won't have any substitutes. So it means that they are unique products. Am I right? Because they do not have close substitutes. So they are unique products. And then, so this means that they have no close substitutes. And then price elasticity is very small. What does that mean? Huge change in price leads to small change in quantity demanded. Be with me. Huge change in price leads to small change in quantity demanded, because he is the only seller in the market. When people want to buy the goods, they have to buy from him or her, or from that particular organization, business organization. Okay, so price elasticity is less than 1. I hope when I say price elasticity is less than 1, you are able to get an image of the relatively inelastic demand curve. How will be the demand curve? You don't have to do
Sloping
the
upward.
you don't have to do that. You have to say it in a technical word that, the demand curve is steeper, downward sloping, steeper curve. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So, then the price control is very large, obviously, because he's a price maker. Okay, so the price control is very large. The total price is under his control, and then he need not even have to worry about the competition, right? He need not even have to worry about the prices of the other companies or other competitors, because monopolist doesn't face any competition. And then a strong barrier to entry, because if there is a smallest opportunity to enter the market, many would enter. So then the market wouldn't remain as monopoly. So do you have any doubt in the market called monopoly? Clear?
Yes,
yeah. What is the reason for not having any doubts? Is it that I teach so well, or you are that smart? Or is just the combination of both? I don't know, but I'm sure that you are free enough to ask the doubt if you have any. So otherwise, I'll just move on. Okay. So the next one is monopolistic competition. Okay, in the monopolistic competition, the number of firms is large number of buyers and sellers. Please remember that monopolistic competition is nothing but the market which is in and around us. So what we see most of the times is monopolistic competition. And goods are differentiated. Obviously, there are, every company, see the mobiles. So many companies will produce. Obviously, it will look the same, but when you when you look at it, then you can see the differences in the size, in the color, in the shape, in the features, in the look. So they are differentiated. And price elasticity is large, that is greater than 1. Small change in price leads to huge change in quantity demanded, because there are large number of sellers and people have a choice, right? So if Oppo increases the price, people definitely go to Vivo or Redmi or some other the same range mobile phones, because they have a choice. Are you able to understand? So small change in price leads to huge change in quantity demanded. And then the price control. To some extent, they have price control, but it is not very great as compared to monopoly. Why is it so? Why is it so?
Because there are a large number of firms, and to some extent, the others also can control.
They really need to take into consideration of the competition. They really need to take into consideration of the price of the competitive firms, and also the government policies, and also the economic conditions. So monopolistic cannot say that the complete price control that individual firm has. right? So when Jio decreased the price, when Jio started giving internet for free of cost, then Airtel, Vodafone, and then BSNL, all this. But anyway, that's an example for oligopoly. But any in such cases, okay. So the change in price, if one particular company or a producer reduces the price, the others cannot ignore it. They have to consider that too. Okay. And then, so some extent, not to a very great extent, then ease of entry is free. Obviously, there is no restriction. And then oligopoly, pure oligopoly and differentiated oligopoly. When I say pure oligopoly, see here, except the nature of product and then price control, other features are same. So I'll just write steel here. Okay, steel. Steel companies, see, number of firms, few, obviously oligo means few. And then homogeneous products. See, can you, if there are two steel bars, okay, two steel rods, can you really make out which is Tata Steel and which is, Bhadravati, Bhadravati's government produced company's steel? Vishwesharaya Iron and Steel Company, which is in Bhadravati. So can you really make out the difference between the two? You really cannot, unless there is a mark on that or a written on it. It is written on the bars or rods, right? So this is what we mean by pure oligopoly. There is some control over the price, not much, because they are selling the homogeneous goods. So if they cannot charge the price according to their total discretionary power, because they really have to take into consideration of the market price. What is running the market ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. Okay, and then ease of entry is limited. Obviously, if there are many, then it would turn into monopolistic competition. It won't remain as pure oligopoly. And then differentiated oligopoly. What is differentiated oligopoly? What can be an example for differentiated oligopoly, where important thing is that nature of product is differentiated from one another? Nature of product is differentiated from one another. Yes, can you think? No idea? Yes, Harshita, you can unmute yourself and answer.
Okay. Ma'am, in the current market scenario, will other FMCG products be oligopolies, differentiated also?
Can you please repeat?
Ma'am, FMCG products.
Consumer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. But they are example for monopolistic competition. But if you say the particular commodity, then I can say whether it is, monopolistic or oligopoly.
Oh, ma'am, then paint industry?
Cold drinks, yes. Yes, that is the differentiated one. Okay, in its taste, in its color, in the kind of a can or a bottle it comes with, even if you take off the wrapper, still you can make out what is Coca-Cola, which one is the Coca-Cola, right? Differentiated brands of cars, yes, good, Anjana. So even if you take off the logo of it, still you can make out. You won't get confused with Alto and Audi, do you? No, right? So that is differentiated oligopoly. Very good. So then obviously the rest of the price control is large here, because they are differentiated commodities. Even if they face the competition, because of their unique feature, okay, of the product, the individual seller or the supplier or a producer has a control over the price. So Audi is not expected to be sold at a lesser price just because Alto you get it within 5 minutes. Am I clear to you? Yeah. So this is these are the features of different markets, and this basically gives you a complete idea about different kinds of market. Was it helpful? Were you able to understand clearly? Do you have any doubt in this? Okay. So next, I will move on to yes, Harshita.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask, apart from the product being differentiated, is there no real difference between pure oligopoly and differentiated oligopoly? That is the only primary difference?
That's the primary difference, but yes, there are, because there is something called collusive and non-collusive oligopoly. There's another part of it. Okay, when pure oligopoly gets connected with the collusive oligopoly, and then yes, then there will be some differences. But these are the primary differences.
Okay.
These two, price control and the nature of the product, are the primary differences. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me tell you about the, yes, please.
Ma'am, price control. So pure oligopoly does not have a large amount of price control, is it? Or to some extent?
No, yeah, they do not have, because they sell the homogeneous goods, right? So they cannot justify their higher price.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Are you able to understand? With the quality and all, of course they can, but it is not that easy to attract, because advertisement is another important thing in the homogeneous goods. That's the only way. See, we don't see Vodafone service. We don't, we really cannot make a difference unless we experience it, right? So it
Yes.
is the Airtel, Vodafone or BSNL, when they are competing, they have to do it only with their advertisement. They can't do it with their price much. They really do not have so much of control over the price.
Yes, ma'am.
There is a price rigidity. Yeah.
Yes,
but in differentiated oligopoly, compared to the pure oligopoly, they have more control over the price. They can charge a little higher price.
Okay.
Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next, I think we also studied the equilibrium and then price determination. So please remember, I'm not going to do it differently for different markets. I'm just telling you the basic conditions, okay? 1 second. One second. Okay, the first condition is price should be equal to MC. Okay. In perfect competition, but in an imperfect competition, it changes a little bit. I will let you know later. So this is perfect competition. Okay. Okay. I will do two types in this. First, I will talk about the perfect competition, and then for the imperfect competition. Price is equal to MC. Second one, MC should not be decreasing. MC should not be decreasing. And third one, MC should cut MR curve from below. MC should cut MR curve from below. And the fourth one, price should be greater than or equal to AC cost. Okay. So, and then every business organization can undergo 3 stages. One is abnormal profit. Second one is normal profit. And third one is loss. Am I clear? Yeah. So Because in perfect computation, demand curve is a horizontal straight line. This is equal to AR, which is also equal to MR, which is also price. Okay. MC, AC, okay, so this shows the abnormal profit. This rectangle shows the abnormal profit, where revenue is greater than cost. Where revenue is greater than cost. See here, this is the revenue and this is the cost. So L is greater than, PL is greater than NM. So revenue is greater than cost, so abnormal profit. Am I clear? Yeah. And then normal profit MC, AC, AR, which is equal to MR, PLQO. OPLQ is the cost as well as revenue. So revenue is equal to cost. So normal profit. Am I clear? And then loss. MC, AC. So this is the, oh, sorry. I have to do the loss, right? One second. Give me a second. AR is equal to MR. And this is MC. And this is AC. A, B, C, D. DC is the revenue. AB is the cost. So revenue is less than cost. So this is loss. Am I clear? Any doubt? Please go through this again. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, because next I'm moving on to the imperfect competition. So if I want to tell you the importance of this, that what you really need to remember in the perfect competition from the examination point of view, listen to me carefully. In a perfectly competitive firm, in a perfectly competitive market, firm does not quit, in the short run, okay? Because losses in the short run won't, the firm cannot alter the fixed capital equipment in the short run. So therefore, they will have to wait, they will have to incur the losses equal to fixed cost even when they shut down. So what happens? They will continue the production until they cover the fixed costs. Okay, so basically in the short run, even if this is what classical economists say, even if they face the loss, they will wait to cover their fixed capital costs. Okay, so then usually in the long run they will enjoy this normal profit. They will enjoy this normal profit. Next, imperfect competition. So let me tell you one thing. In all the imperfect competition, the first difference between the perfect competition and imperfect competition is the average revenue and marginal revenue concept. Demand curve is downward sloping. So demand is equal to AR. In every market, demand is equal to AR. So I'll do the abnormal profit here. Conditions will remain the same, whether it is a perfect competition or imperfect competition. Conditions will remain the same. So AR, okay, this is MR curve. This is AR curve. MC. Now abnormal profit, so AC has to be below AR. Okay, equilibrium point. Okay, this ABCD rectangle is the abnormal profit. Abnormal profit where revenue is greater than cost. Revenue is greater than cost. And then it's very simple. If cost is below AR, abnormal profit. If cost is equal to AR, normal profit. If cost is more than AR, loss. And your revenue cost curves depend on the kind of a market. That's it. Okay. Remember, always remember, MR is below AR. Don't get confused in that. So this is MC. Now I have to make AR and MR equal. AR and AC. I'll just write like this. AB, QO, OABQ. Okay. So OABQ is the cost as well as OABQ is the revenue. So therefore, it is revenue is equal to cost. So normal profit. And then loss. MR, AR, MC, AC. AC should be above AR. LMN. LMNP. Because O and Q are here. So LMNP is the loss because LM is the cost, PN is the revenue. Cost is greater than revenue. So loss. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the monopoly market, usually the monopolist will enjoy abnormal profit or he may incur loss. Normal profit won't occur because normal profit comes with lot of competition. And in monopoly, there is no competition. Okay. And in the long run, usually he will enjoy the abnormal profit. And in the monopolistic competition, because there are large number of buyers and sellers, large number of sellers, so competition is too high, you can see the normal profit situation. Okay. And then in oligopoly, it's altogether a different thing. In the oligopoly, it's a kinked demand curve. Actually, this is one of the models. Okay. Sweezian, economist, he said that the demand curve is kinked. So in this, before this point, before the kink, elasticity of demand is greater than 1. After the kink, elasticity of demand is less than 1. Okay. Here too, the condition is same. Demand curve talks about the AR curve. But usually questions on monopoly or not perfect competition will come with regard to the price discrimination. Price determination. And in monopoly, there is one more concept called price discrimination. Okay, a monopolist can discriminate the price. It means that he can charge different prices to different customers for the same product. Okay, different prices to different customers for the same product. So in price discrimination, actually there are 3 types of price discrimination. One is first degree price discrimination. I just told you what is first degree price discrimination. What is first degree price discrimination? Charging different prices to different people for the same product. Okay, so that's called first degree price discrimination. Okay, and then you can see the product differentiation, the price discrimination even in the product differentiation, but price discrimination can be seen in the monopoly. Okay. And then we have second degree price discrimination. What is second degree price discrimination? Monopolist is able to charge a separate price for different quantities or blocks of a commodity. So for example, if you buy it in a bulk, the price may decrease. If you are buying a single unit, the price would remain the same. I think you are able to understand that part, right? So like group discount kind of a thing. Okay, so that is second degree price discrimination. Again, the same thing, right? If you go to Wonderla in a group of 30, you get the you get the tickets for the lesser price, but the services are same. The games that you can play, the amusement park you can enjoy, it's same. It is not different because you have paid less. Because you are in a group, you can pay less. If you weren't in a group, you had to pay more, right? So that is called second degree price discrimination. And third one is third degree price discrimination is that you are charging different prices to the same commodity but in different markets, not in the same market. Okay, like in the online platform the price is different. If you go to a shop, the price is different. Okay, so that is third degree price discrimination. Obviously, when it was explained, there was no online thing. So like, if you buy vegetables in KR market, price is different. If you buy it near your residential area, then the price is higher, right? For the same product. So the regional place, the place matters in the third degree price discrimination. Am I clear? Any doubt? Okay, this is what I wanted to explain in the fourth chapter. Now you tell me, but there are so many other concepts also, right? Like increase in demand, decrease in demand, the shifts in demand and supply curves, simultaneous shift in demand and simultaneous shift in demand and supply curves. So do you want me to explain any of those concepts? Please do not by heart. You just have to know to do a diagram. If you're able to do that, then you can understand the relation between the demand and supply. What happens to the demand, what happens to the quantity, and what happens to the price when demand and supply shift simultaneously. So are you clear with the concept?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have any doubt in the fourth chapter, or shall I move on to the third one? Because I think it's already 8:05. I mean, time is not an issue. I'm okay. I can take any. I'm okay with that. I just want you to know. Okay. Or should I just revise that simultaneous shift in demand and supply?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, everyone. Now, demand and supply. Okay. One case, supply being constant. Supply being constant. When supply doesn't change, when demand increases, what happens? Supply being constant, when demand decreases, then what happens? To what? In relation to price and quantity. Okay, in relation to price and quantity. Are you with me? Do not by heart. Okay, when a question comes on this, definitely it will be confusing. Okay, do not by heart. Understand this. Demand curve is downward sloping. Supply curve is upward sloping. This is the equilibrium, original equilibrium. Equilibrium quantity, equilibrium price. Right? Now, we need to understand the relation. What happens? Supply being constant if demand increases. Just draw the diagram. What happens? Quantity and price both will increase. Quantity and price will increase. Clear? Look and decide. Supply being constant when demand decreases. Demand and supply. Quantity, price. Now demand decreases. What happens? Quantity and price both will decrease. Am I right? Yeah. Next. Demand being constant. Demand being constant. When supply increases, demand being constant when supply decreases. What happens? Just draw the diagram. Demand, supply. Equilibrium, quantity, price. Now demand is constant, supply increases, but please do understand When supply increases, what is the direction of the shift? It is rightward, but rightward is always downwards. Remember, don't get confused. Then your answer will be wrong then. S1, Q1, P1. So price decreases, quantity increases. Right? Demand being constant when supply decreases. Price increases, but quantity decreases. Correct? So here, understand. Okay, here, understand. Supply being constant, when demand changes, price and quantity move in the same direction. When demand increases, quantity, price both increase. When demand decreases, quantity, price both decrease. See this symbol. This is all same. Okay? Here, it is opposite. When supply increases, quantity increases, but price decreases. When supply decreases, price increases, but quantity decreases. Am I clear? Till here. Now we will move on to the simultaneous shift in demand and supply. Okay? Simultaneous shift in demand and supply. Okay. Both, one second. Both demand and supply increases. Okay. Supply, equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity, equilibrium price, P, Q. Now demand increases and supply too increases. Supply too increases. Okay. Then what happens to the price and quantity? New, one second. New supply, new demand, new equilibrium price. Sorry. Q1. But here remember, price may increase or decrease or may remain constant, but quantity will definitely increase. Okay, price may increase or decrease or may remain constant, but quantity will definitely increase when demand and supply both increase. Okay, now if demand and supply both decrease, then what happens? Price may increase or decrease or may remain constant, but quantity will definitely decrease. Okay. And the next one, demand increases and supply decreases. Demand curve, supply curve. Demand increases, but supply decreases. So then quantity may increase or decrease or may remain constant, but price will definitely increase. Use your logic. When demand increases, supply decreases, what happens to the price? Price increases. Then what happens to the quantity? It depends on the consumers. It may increase, it may decrease, or it may remain constant. So if demand decreases and supply increases, what happens? quantity may increase or decrease or may remain constant, but price will definitely decrease. When supply is more than demand, price is bound to decrease. Am I right? Any doubt? Okay, this is about the simultaneous shift in demand and supply. These three slides talk about that. Clear? Oh, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Now, shall we move on to the third chapter? It's also very important, production and cost. I hope you remember that we made so many cost tables. We learned two theories, law of returns to scale and law of variable proportions. We did understand the basic concepts like what is short run and what is long run. It is not the time period, and it is the factor inputs which decide the long run or short term or long term. So the fixed factors and variable factors, existence of fixed factors and variable factors will describe the short period, and existence of only variable factors talks about the long period or long run. I hope you know all these concepts. So let's quickly go through the third chapter, production and cost. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So theory of production. So because this chapter is divided into two parts, one is production part and another one is cost part. Okay. Now we are moving on to the production part. So meaning of production, factors of production, land, labor, capital, and organization. You have to understand what land is. Like in economics, land is not just a surface of the earth. It is all those goods which are available in the universe by the nature, which is not man-made. Okay, and the features of land. Labor, both mental and physical effort is considered as labor. Okay, so in economics, the one who works for the, with the expectation of earning livelihood in terms of money or kind are laborers. And the features, capital, different types of capital, capital formation, entrepreneur, the objectives, organic objectives, economic objectives, social objective, problems of an entrepreneur or an enterprises, production function, the relationship between input and output. When it is algebraically expressed, it is called production function. Short-run production function, obviously, which includes both fixed factors and variable factors. Cobb-Douglas production function. Douglas and Cobb are the US economists who studied around 1,000 American manufacturing industries, and this is what they said. Okay. And then basic concepts like TP, AP, and MP. We also discussed the relationship between TP, AP, and MP. So look at the table to understand the relationship. Initially, AP is less and MP is more, but after the intersection point, MP will be less and AP will be more, and MP can be -2 if it continues. So this is, what is it called? Like, S-shaped curve, TP curve. Law of variable proportions. It is a short-run production analysis, law under the short-run production analysis, where it says that when fixed and variable factors are there, when we increase the variable factors in order to increase the output, then the proportion between the fixed and variable factors will move in such a way that the proportion between fixed and variable factors will move in such a way that the marginal product will go through 3 stages: increasing returns, constant returns, increasing returns, diminishing returns, and negative returns. So initially, MP is greater than AP, but later MP is lesser than AP, and TP is increasing continuously. But at one point of time where MP is 0, then TP also starts decreasing. So this is what the relation between AP and MP. Then returns to scale is a law under long run, where all factor inputs are considered variables. There are no fixed factors because producer has enough time to change all sort of factors of production. And then the production will go through 3 stages: increasing returns, constant returns, and decreasing returns. And isoquants, it's just like an indifference curve in the theory of consumer behavior, which represent all combination of input which give the equal level of output. It is also called as isoproduct curve. And MRTS is marginal rate of technical substitution. So it also looks like an indifference curve. It is an convex curve to the origin. And this is ISO cost. It's like budget line in the theory of consumer behavior. Okay, it is the cost that a producer can afford to invest, afford to incur. So when do producer gets the maximum, maximum profit? When he is able to produce the goods at least cost, so that whatever price charges he makes, he will be able to enjoy the highest profit. So this is least cost combination of factors. Am I clear? Okay. So he will choose C because it is on the lesser cost line, but on the same isoquant, which gives the equal level of output compared to D, E, A, and B, which are more expensive but gives the same level of output. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
This is about the production concept. Okay. The next is cost concept. One second. I'll just close few of them. Okay. So theory of cost. in the theory of cost, we discussed what is cost, and basically we started with the understanding of difference between price and cost, if you remember in my class. So then outlay cost, opportunity cost, direct cost, sorry, and incremental cost, sunk cost, historical cost, private cost, social cost, cost function, which explains the relationship between what is cost function, cost of a product, and the various determinants of cost. Okay. Fixed cost, variable cost, short-run total cost curves, short-run average cost, relationship between average cost and the marginal cost. Remember, average product and marginal product are invert U-shaped, whereas average cost and marginal cost are U-shaped cost curves. Long-run cost curves are nothing but the summation of the short-run cost curves. And then we learned the economies and diseconomies of scale, advantages and disadvantages of producing the goods at different levels. So reasons for internal economies and diseconomies, and external economies and diseconomies. And meanwhile, we also studied the cost tables. We did many cost tables. Am I clear to you? Is there any doubt? Yes? Okay. Now we will move on to the second chapter, theory of consumer behavior. Okay. Theory of consumer behavior. 1 second, students. In this, we had 3 units. First unit is about the theory of demand and supply. Yeah? Okay. Theory of demand and supply. What is demand? Determinants of demand. QD is equal to function of, see here, QD is equal to function of PX, M, PY, PC, T, and A. What is PX? Price of a commodity. M, income of the consumer. PY, price of the substitute goods. PC, price of the complementary goods. T, taste and preferences. A, advertisement. Okay. And then law of demand, the simplest law in economics, that when the price increases, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand increases. Other things being constant. Demand schedule, the demand curve. Demand curve can also be like this, okay? It need not be linear. It can be a non-linear also, but it is always convex to the origin. The demand curve is never concave. Because higher the price, lesser the demand. Lower the price, more will be the demand. So there is an inverse relationship between demand and price. So either it will be convex, or if it is a curve, if a non-linear one, if it is a linear one, then a straight line. Then market demand schedule. When you total or aggregate the individual demand schedules, then you arrive at the market demand schedules. We did learn the reasons for the law of demand. Why is it that the demand curve slopes downward from left to right? Because of the law of diminishing marginal utility, price effect, arrival of new consumer, different uses, and then exceptions to the law of demand. Expansion and contraction. Please remember, this is very important. Only when price changes, you can see the expansion and contraction of demand. Downward movement shows expansion of demand, and upward movement shows contraction of demand. It happens because of the change in price. All other determinants being constant, only when price changes this happens, and this is called movement along the demand curve. Movement along the demand curve. And then increase and decrease in demand anything but not price will lead to the increase or decrease in demand. Okay, it is called shift in the demand curve. Rightward shift shows the increase in demand, leftward shift shows the decrease in demand. And the reasons for the increase in demand is given. Please do understand: rise in the price of a substitute, fall in the price of a complement, change in taste and preferences of the people towards the commodity. And please do remember that we did discuss the substitute goods, complementary goods, and their shapes and all. Okay, don't forget that. Increase and decrease in demand, elasticity of demand. We have done a lot of problems in this. Delta Q divided by delta P into P by Q. Types of elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand is infinite if it is perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic when PED is equal to 0, vertical straight line. Unitary elastic, it means that change in price leads to proportionate change in quantity demanded. And then greater elastic, a change in price leads to more than proportionate change in quantity demanded. Less elastic, change in price leads to less than proportionate change in quantity demanded. And then point elasticity. We have also studied different ways to measure the price elasticity of demand. Point elasticity, lower segment divided by upper segment, right? I hope this is one important diagram. You just have to remember this. Whether you understand a logic or not is a different thing, but you need to understand this. Okay. And then arc elasticity. To know the price elasticity in the curve, in the arc. And then total outlay method or total expenditure method, where the demand is considered to be elastic. I mean, elastic in the sense perfect, more elastic. Speed is greater than 1 if a price and total revenue move in an opposite direction. It is not price. Please don't get confused. When it comes to the total outlay method, it is the total revenue and price. So if they move in the opposite direction, then elasticity is greater than 1. If they move in the same direction, then elasticity is less than 1. If they, whatever may be the change in price, if TR remains the same, then it is unitary elastic demand. Do you have any doubt? Yeah. And then determinants of price elasticity of demand. I hope you remember that you only did the explanation part of these points, and then income elasticity of demand, delta Q divided by delta Y into Y by Q, right? And these are the types of income elasticity of demand. EI is less than 1, EI is greater than 1, EI is less than 0, that is inferior goods. Don't forget that. EI is equal to 1, EI is equal to 0. And then cross elasticity of demand is calculated for substitute goods and complementary goods. Change in price of a change in the quantity demanded of X commodity to a change in the price of Y commodity. So EC is equal to delta QX divided by delta Y, delta PY into PY by QX. So if you get a positive answer, then it is substitute goods. If you get an answer as negative, then it is complementary goods. I hope you remember all this discussion. And then advertisement elasticity. Then demand forecasting. This is about the first unit in the second chapter. Do you have any doubt in this? Clear? Yeah, good, great. Next is second unit. 1 second. Theory of consumer behavior. Theory of consumer behavior. Give me a second. Theory of consumer behavior started with the understanding of wants and different types of wants, but the major focus should be on utility. Okay, and then there are two approaches, cardinal and ordinal, and then we studied the basic concepts like total utility, marginal utility, and the law of diminishing marginal utility, which is very, very important. It says that when a consumer consumes any commodity continuously, okay, when a consumer consumes any commodity continuously without any time gap, then the marginal utility of each successive unit goes on diminishing. Okay, so if you consume any commodity continuously, then you will not have the same satisfaction for all the commodities. It goes on decreasing with every increase in the consumption. Am I clear? Yeah. So this is theory of consumer behavior. It's the law of diminishing marginal utility. And next, the table and the diagram. Limitations. Law of equimarginal utility. It's not that the consumer would spend only on one commodity, so he always like to maximize the satisfaction with every penny that he is going to spend. So when I am spending money on a house, let's say that I am spending 50 lakhs rupees to buy a house, buy an apartment, then yes, it is important to me. I will see the worth of it, whether that house is worth rupees 50 lakhs rupees. So marginal utility of X and PX should be equal. Okay. But does that mean that if I am buying a sandals for 500 rupees, I won't worry about it? Even if that sandals are worth only rupees 100, I don't mind paying 500 rupees because I have money to buy a house like of 50 lakhs. No, right? See, when you are buying a house, you will look at the worth of it. But at the same time, even if you're buying a tomato of 1 kg, still you will see whether that price is worth it or not. If tomatoes are rotten, if they are in the, now the summer has started, so if it is in the sun and if it is not, doesn't look fresh, do you still buy that tomato? No, right? You will see the worth of it. Your marginal utility of X by PX should be same, right? So are you able to understand that is equimarginal utility? Every penny that you're going to spend should give you the level of satisfaction that you are spending. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, so
Do you have a doubt?
yes, ma'am. So basically, the satisfaction that we gain for spending in everything, whatever we spend, should be the same.
Should be same to the price that we are spending.
Okay, ma'am. Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
If
yes.
I am spending 10 rupees, the utility should be 10 because it is cardinal utility, right? We are trying to measure it in terms of utility. So if I am spending 15 rupees, the utility should be 15.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So total satisfaction should be equal to your total income, the entire money that you have spent. Clear? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So next is consumer surplus. Consumer surplus is equal to what consumer is ready to pay and what he actually pays. Okay. What consumer is ready to pay and what he actually pays. So this is the price line. This is the demand. So price line ke upar, demand line ke niche, whatever you get is the consumer surplus. Remember that. Okay. So what you are your expected price minus actual price that you have paid. That is consumer surplus. Okay. Next, indifference curve analysis. So any combination on the indifference curve would give equal level of satisfaction. Group of indifference curve is indifference map. The marginal rate of substitution is the rate at which consumer is ready to forgo X for Y or Y for X. It depends on that. Okay. So basically, if you want to have more of X, then you have to sacrifice some units of Y. If you want to have more of Y, you have to sacrifice some units of X. Okay. Because the resources are limited. And then properties of indifference curve, like, indifference curve slopes downward from left to right. And then indifference curves cannot be convex or horizontal straight, or a straight line. It has to be, it cannot be concave or a downward sloping straight line. It has to be convex. And then indifference curve cannot intersect each other because the combination's level of satisfaction cannot be determined. Everything looks vague. I hope you remember these concepts. If not, let me know. And then the budget line is what a consumer can afford to buy. Any combination on the budget line would cost the same and it is affordable. Within the budget line, definitely affordable, but utility is less. Outside the budget line, the utility might be more, but it is unaffordable to the consumer. Okay. And then consumer's equilibrium is achieved where, remember, indifference curve is tangent to budget line. So the point where indifference curve is tangent to budget line, that's the consumer's equilibrium point, where a consumer would enjoy more satisfaction. Okay, would enjoy more satisfaction for the same price that he's going to pay or she's going to pay. So this is about the demand part, and in the same chapter we did study the supply part, which is exactly opposite to demand. I have told you while teaching also that, make sure that you know the concept of demand very well. Just the opposite of it would be the supply. 1 second. Okay. Supply is different from stock. Supply is different from the original output of the producer. Supply refers to those commodities which has been produced and brought to the market and which are offered for sale for a price. So that is supply. Determinants of supply, law of supply exactly opposite to the law of demand. When price increases, supply too increases. When price decreases, supply decreases. Supply schedule, supply curve, upward sloping line. It could be a curve also, non-linear also. Movement on the supply curve. Please remember, exactly opposite to the demand. Upward movement shows expansion here. Downward movement shows contraction. Whereas in demand, downward showed expansion of demand and upward movement shows contraction of demand. Am I clear? Yeah. And then shifts in a supply curve. Downward shows increase in supply. Upward curve shows decrease in supply. But direction-wise same. Rightwards. Rightwards shows the increase. Leftward shows the decrease. Elasticity of supply. The change in quantity supplied due to change in the price. The types are as like your demand, perfectly inelastic, perfectly elastic, more than elastic, less than elastic, and unitary elastic. Only thing is upward sloping line. Then when is it that the consumer enjoys the equilibrium and the producer enjoys the equilibrium? At a point where demand and supply are equal. The price at which quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. That is the equilibrium point. And we also discussed what happens when the price increases to P2. Supply will be greater than demand. Price decreases to P0. Demand will be greater than supply. As a result, it will always be pushed up or pulled down to the equilibrium point. This is what the classical economists believed. Clear? So now the last chapter, that's the first chapter, that is there are two units. One is introduction and another one is basic problems of an economy. I hope you remember this. Meaning of economics, business economics, and then, one second. Subject matter like micro and macroeconomics. So studying a part of an economy is microeconomics, studying large part of an economy or whole of an economy is macroeconomics. Nature of business economics, scope of business economics. Right? What is the scope of micro and macroeconomics? So the questions you can expect a few questions from chapter 1. More questions will be from chapter 2, 3, and 4. And then, one second. One second. Second unit is problem of okay, I'm not able to open the PPT, but anyway, I have a PDF. I'll just share that. Okay. That is basic problems of an economy. Central problems of an economy. What to produce is a problem of choice. How to produce is a problem of technology, whether to go for capital intensive technology or for labor intensive technology, and for whom to produce is a problem of distributions. And capitalist economy is an economy where government interference is too less and market controls all the economic activities, and in the market there are two players, buyers and sellers, right? So profit is the orientation of the market. So what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce is answered by the capitalist economy in such a way that the profit is maximized. Socialist economy is an economy where economic activities are controlled and managed by the government or central authority or a public authority. What to produce, how to produce, whom to produce, all these questions will be answered by socialist economy from the people's welfare point of view, because they are not profit, government is not a profit oriented organization. Mixed economy is the mixture of both capitalist economy and the socialist economy. India is the best example for that, where both government and the private sector will control, manage the market. So what to produce, how to produce, and whom to produce are determined differently by the two sectors. Government will always focus on labor-intensive technology, the goods which are more useful to the people in general, and then for everybody, it produces for everybody. Whereas the private sector or the capitalist sector will produce only those goods which bring them more profit, and they usually go for capital-intensive technology, and then it produces for those who can afford to buy their products. One second. Okay. That was about the second unit in the first chapter. Do you have, it's a marathon of economics. So do you have any doubt? Clear with the concepts? Now we're going to take a break, right? Like your exams are near and all. Then I think we will have another R2R session before your foundation exam. Right?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
the forum is open for you. So if you have anything to ask, we can discuss. Otherwise, we can wind up. Basically, don't be in a dilemma, or don't suspect yourself. Don't ever think that concepts you have studied now might just go when you are preparing yourself for some other examination, or if you take a break of 1 month from the foundation, this concepts, then you will forget everything. That's not going to happen if you really have understood it. You might feel that you don't know it, like COVID, in the COVID period for about 3 to 4 months, you may not have gadi odisilde irbodu, but the next, after 3 months, when you sit on the bike or a bicycle, you will know, right? If you jump into the river, whether if you knew the swimming, okay, then you will swim. So is the subject, so is the topics. Yes, you need to brush it up, you need to go through it again, that is there. But whatever is learned, if you have really understood it, then it won't fade away. It won't fade away. Memories will fade away, but not the learnings will never ever fade away. Okay, so don't be so skeptical about it. Don't be harsh on yourself. Don't ever doubt yourself. Okay, so believe that is very important. And whether people say that oh, don't worry, you will do it in one go, or whether people say that it's very difficult, it's really difficult to do it, so if you take a break, then it might be difficult, you better read. You have to keep in touch, there is no doubt about it. I'm not talking about that, but you are not people's opinion. Remember that. Okay, and your effort will not go futile, it won't go waste. Okay, so therefore please keep in touch whenever, and even if you are going to take a break for a month, or for because of your examination and all, in a free even if you get some 5 to 10 minutes free time, just look at the book once. You don't have to learn anything, you don't even have to read it, just see it. Okay, see, it's like seeing your old photos. You don't have to live that life, but it will come to you, right? That experience will somehow, you feel it, right? So that feel will come from the books too. Believe me. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can always contact me through Chinmay or through CAPS. Otherwise, all the very best for all your future endeavors, and we will meet again before you write your foundation exam for R2R session. Any doubt? Clear? Shall we wind up the class? Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to me every time, okay, let me tell you. Okay, I still have another 3-4 minutes, so I can still talk. I know that you are very, very tired, so do I, and I have another 3 hours to study now. So my study hour starts from 9:15, and then I have to finish it before 12, I think till 12:30. 1 second, students, 1 second. Extremely sorry, 1 second. Okay. So I know that you're all tired, but let me tell you something that in this 2 months, I don't know how was your life. Hopefully all good and well. I did take up many classes, but in the online classes, when I was taking to some different the classes in different districts, obviously online classes. But every time I had to plead them to switch their videos on, and I had to literally beg them to ask questions, at least give the reactions through the emojis that they have got in the Zoom, and all those difficult time for me, because it is without looking at the students I need to teach. Believe me, I missed you a lot. I missed the CAPS classes. I missed the CAPS students. I missed you. And I still remember that, Ritvik eating doesn't matter. Evening 5:30 classes. I understand, okay, how, but believe me, I'm not even joking. I'm not at all joking. The kind of interactions you do it in the online classes, and, you show the interest. You'd never ever show your tiredness. So blessed to teach you all. Okay, I'm so glad to meet you virtually and teach you. Thank you so much that this meet will have some fruitful effort in your journey of learning and in your success. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself. Good night. Study well. Be kind. Speak the language of love and follow the religion of humanity. Thank you so much.